Joe Kane, the New England Patriots. They've been making signings out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Judon, Jalen Mills, Cam Newton, Kendrick Bourne, even though I call him Jason Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. They spent a ton of money trying to upgrade their offense. So, Joe, the big question here is, one, I want to know, do you think that Bill Belichick and company spent too much? And two, do you think it'll allow them to compete at least in the AFC East or at least for a playoff spot?
I think you guys were honestly in one of the best positions in the NFL. Were like second in salary cap, which is great this year. Um, and you didn't have that many vital, people hitting the free agency. So that was another clutch moment from the Patriots. So, I mean, in terms of did they spend too much? I'm gonna say no. I think they're getting all the right pieces, and I think, especially on defense, they have enough players now to be able to make some big trades. Because honestly, I didn't see the need for some of the guys you got on defense. Because
Yeah.
you're already a top 10 defense without the free agency. So now it's like you're stacking on more. You're obviously about to trade a few players.
Yeah, it
And
certainly seems that way. I think the offensive signings, you can argue we spent maybe a little too much on Aguilar and especially Kendrick Bourne. I mean, but it's over a decent period of time. Aguilar's career has really perked up in the last year, and he did that with Derek Carr. And Carr's a good quarterback. He's better than Cam, so we'll see how he fits in. I don't know if all of that is going to be enough to propel our offense to top half status, but our defense right now is filthy. It was already great. You add a pass rusher in Judon to complement Winovich on the other side, and you've got a lot of pressure coming on quarterbacks. That's not something the Patriots have had a lot, at least defensively. It's been more focused on the secondary and linebackers. And then we bring Hightower back. Mills will add another dimension at cornerback, although, again, maybe not at the levels he was when they won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. I think, though, despite all that, Joe, I think you have a good point on the trade comments. Gilmore's been talked as a trade piece seriously for about a year now. I could genuinely see them maybe dealing an injury-prone Gilmore for an offensive piece, and Mills is maybe that replacement. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I also just think that they're trying to bank on their defense to win them games and just give themselves enough offensive pieces to compete and remain relevant. I remember last week I was a lot more pessimistic about the Patriots' playoff chances. I'm still not high on them, but the defense is so good that it can keep the offense afloat if some of those pieces don't work out. And I really like those tight end signings, especially, anyways. So if we can acquire a decent running back, losing Tooney hurts, so maybe build the O line a bit more. I think we'll be all right.
yeah, and I'm honestly I think you still have like $8 million left, I believe. I think keep that. Focus on trading players now, and especially trading for offensive players. And maybe I've heard like it's very far fetched, but I've heard like rumors about Deshaun Watson in New England.
I
And
heard
that
rumors about
it's
the Texans.
very far fetched, so don't get your hopes up. But I've heard rumors.
And the last thing I want to ask is about their playoff hopes. I know last week both you and I were quite pessimistic on them. I'm still not fully sold because despite the fact that the defense is really, really good, the AFC has a lot of really talented teams and a lot of talented teams on the up. And I'm just not fully convinced about the offense. So I'm interested in your take here. Do you think I don't think any of us are saying that they'll beat the Bills out for the division, although there are some people that are going crazy about that, which I think is a bit of an overreaction. But for the 6-7 spot, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's definitely possible. Even if you don't do anything right now, you have a good-looking offense. Although losing
Tooney.
Thuney hurts a lot. You have a good-looking offense, but you have what I'm going to say now, the best defense in the NFL.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that the Steelers obviously lose Dupree, and that defense slipped after Dupree got hurt, and now he's gone. You look at maybe some other teams. I mean, the Browns are obviously solid, but their secondary is wonky. I think the Patriots have, when they get Hightower back, they're going to have a fierce pass rush. The Bears defense might have something to say, but they also just cut Fuller, which made zero sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, great secondary, good pass rush, and Hightower back marshaling the linebacker core. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you can look at the Cowboys. They're not going to get anywhere with that offense right now. Okay. They can win in shootouts, but that's going to be harder to do without fixing the defense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'll say it again. I say it every week we talk about the NFL. Defense wins games.
Yep.
So, like, you guys, I think, are set for the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I made that deal.
Which means you're going to be buying a Cam Newton jersey.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But yeah, no, like I said, it's funny actually because last week we were talking about this, and the Patriots, we were bashing them for this Cam signing. I'm still not sold on it. 13.
I am. I'm sold. Look, he has NFL players backing him, dude. What more do you want?
I understand that he has support, but it's $13 million for a guy who was missing dudes 10 yards downfield last year. I don't think he's magically going to fix that.
Didn't the Saints just give Taysom Hill a $140 million deal?
Okay, again, does that make it right for Cam to make that much money? It's like my analysis.
It's the QB market, though. That is what a quarterback like Cam is worth.
But I don't agree with that because a quarterback.
It doesn't matter if you agree with it because
this quarterback can't throw more than 15 yards. But regardless, I think the bigger point here for me is you can talk about the Cam signing. Last week, we were a lot more pessimistic. I feel more optimistic. And I remember saying last week, the defense is good, but it's not elite. It was like in the upper tier, but not the upper tier, where you know you're going to get pressure from all sides in the secondary and the linebacker core, and of course the front four. This Patriots team is pretty fierce in all three locations. They re-signed Van Noy as well, which is a sneaky good signing. Van Noy is huge in the Patriots system. He knows it really well. He and Hightower have always been great together. That's going to be amazing. That defense is an elite defense now. And now you add some receiving help. I think the tight ends actually were the best part of all of it. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are very, very good tight ends, like objectively top 10 tight ends. Does that say much? Maybe not, because tight end isn't exactly a deep position, but Hunter Henry especially, I mean, he's been productive throughout his career. Jonnu Smith has caught big touchdowns. Those are guys that are going to help. Big targets Cam can hit. And this is the ultimate test of Cam Newton for me. If Cam Newton can get it done with this roster and make the playoffs, then I'll admit that I was wrong the last 2 years. But if he shows what he showed this season and is inept for most of the year, and throws more picks than touchdowns, even despite the rushing touchdowns, I'm going to be a bit more disappointed and harsh on him. I think that we can sneak into the playoffs. I think that I shouldn't have made that bet with you last week before we made a free agency signings. Mm-hmm. I did not expect Bill Belichick to enter the free agency market and just drop money constantly.
He spent like $150 million in one day. Like,
Bill Belichick doesn't do that. Bill Belichick drafts under the radar guys. So maybe I shouldn't have made this bet with you, but I actually do think that this Patriots team can sneak into the 7 seed. Yes, there's heavy competition from every AFC North team. So we'll see how that goes as Ryan Eisner enters the line. Maybe he has some opinions on this with the Patriots, but I think there's a chance. I think Patriots could get 9 wins, 10 wins, and sneak into the playoffs if all goes well.
Oh, hey, if you like watching this video, then watch the last video right here. And if you like the video, then subscribe by clicking this button right here.